Joining. This is John the Net Guy. We're just getting things started up. Awesome. Thank you guys for joining. I'm going to check the chat here and make sure people are getting in. This is John the Net Guy. This is Tech Day Live, show number 404. I've been off for almost 4 weeks. My voice has finally just come back here. About 3 weeks ago, I put out a video that just popped. It went viral. It was literally about this Ace Magic 8008 mini PC. So the last time you may have seen me or seen my channel was this video. 60 something 70,000 people looked at that video in the last 3 weeks. I got 900 and something comments last time I checked, and 2,200 new subscribers on a 23,000 viewer channel after about 3.5-4 years. That's huge. That's like 10% channel growth. And I want to thank the guys over at Gamers Nexus, Steve, that covered this. Also want to thank Tom's Hardware, who picked it up. There was a Redditor that put a really good write-up together about it. If this is your first time here, I do PC builds, I do tech tips, I do all that stuff. I mainly do product reviews now. So as I rebranded my channel to do reviews, because I was getting all sorts of cool products and tools and stuff, then all of a sudden I'm apparently like an investigative mini PC journalist. But we have some people jumping in here. It is an absolutely live show. Thank you, Jonathan, for checking in. Jonathan Talks Hardware, another YouTuber, got a lot of those. And if this is, again, you checking in, I want to give a little bit back here to you guys. This is live on several different platforms. It is going to be live on Amazon, so I have to be a little bit careful about what I say specifically on Amazon. Couple limitations that we have with Amazon. I can't tell you to go follow me. I can't tell you to check me out on Twitter. Can't tell you to subscribe on my YouTube. I have to use this little app to communicate with the Amazon folks, but it is kind of fun because I can see if you guys are picking up stuff and getting good deals. So this is the bad mini PC. I did pick up another mini PC, and it's going to be the first time I've unboxed this thing, and we're going to check this out. Mini PC, literally generic, everything on it. I paid $69 for it. I went back to the listing and it had a $10 off. So I could have paid $59, but now it's out of stock all of a sudden. But it says that it has Windows, and we're going to find out how illegitimate this Windows is. So it is in the carousel right now. Unfortunately, you can't buy it. You might be able to bookmark it if this is really tickles your fancy, but we're going to check that out here in a second. I am also going to say thank you to Noah, who sent me some neat stuff here. I'm going to read this at the end of the show after we get done with the Amazon stuff, but I want to read his card to you, and he sent me a cool little magnet, which is going to join the show. So let me get a couple things set up here. I do have a, well, not holiday show going today. I'm going to show this. I have a little scroller that goes along the bottom of the screen here. And the reason that that's there is to tell you my URL on Amazon where you can pick up these deals if you see something that tickles your fancy that you might want to pick up for yourself. I've got 5 products today, so it's going to be a little bit different show than I normally do. So of those 5 products, these are all things that I would recommend, and we'll talk through when they might be good products to use. So if you are going to take a look at that, let me go over here to my Amazon show page and see if I can remember how to use everything on here. The way you do that is my Amazon show page is scrolling at the bottom. If you go there, you're going to see something that looks like this. I should be up in this little corner here. Hi, you guys can still see me. If you click on show 404 here, this will show you all of the products that we have that I'm going to be showing today. And we are going to kick it off today with the mini PC. I'm not going to make you guys wait anymore for this. This is the one I mentioned that I did purchase, paid about $69 for it. I'll pull up the invoice here so you can see it in just a second, but it's pretty funny. So we'll come back here. I'm going to yank this invoice up for you so you can see that I actually did pay less than $70 for this thing. So here we go. So there it is. I think I blurred out all the important information. Not too long ago, just a little under 10 days ago, it looks like it arrived. And I've been holding on for my next proximal show so I can show it to you. And if you are new to the show here, give me a comment in the chat just to let me know you're here. I see green. Hopefully not one of those trackers. Funny you should say that. I've actually got some trackers coming up that I'm working with a company in New York right now. And we're going to see if we can get a show about tracking, which is good. And this is all good tracking. Firestorm says, hey, all. Hey, Firestorm. Thank you for joining the show here. I'm going to get us live on Amazon, and in 3, 2, 1, here we go on Amazon. Okay. So if you do go to my Amazon page that's at that URL below, you'll see me on Amazon Live. It'll be kind of like picture in a picture in a picture. It's pretty cool. So this is the mini PC. It's again going to be a Celeron, obviously. We're going to go in the top-down camera here. I got tons of cameras. And of course, nothing's exactly lined up because it's my first show back after a very long time. So this is the mini PC itself here. This is the sticker. Now, what was interesting about this is generic company, right? Take a look at this. This mini PC is the infamous Ace Magic 8008. Let me see if I can get you guys closer to this sticker even. And this is what I'm talking about. See if it'll do it. They're basically the same style of model numbers, CMN, whatever. Sorry if you can't see that. My camera's decided to not do its focusing thing today. So that CMN number is very similar. So I have a feeling that this is a Camrui equivalent. So this is the GK5. It's silver. It's 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of ROM. Now, as we know, that real ROM you wouldn't be able to write to at all. I think what they mean is 128 on board, but we're going to find that out here. So we're going to open this thing up. See if I can find something sharp to cut this with. And there we go. So we just broke the seal on it. I will be able to plug this in and show it to you live, which is kind of cool. We're going to do an unbox here first. So, yep, looks very, very similar, eerily similar. Now, this is what I was talking about in my videos about these mini PCs, and it looks like I got another Camrui equivalent. So look at that sticker right up there. Hopefully you can see it. It says, during the system boot, if you cannot log into your personal account, turn off Wi-Fi and LAN, select skip option, and then log in personal account to the system. That is because they're using illegal Windows keys on these products. So they're not using a legal Windows key here. Warm tip, your PC can work excellent under Windows 10, but upgrading system may cause running slow. Who knows what that means, but we are going to try it out. So it does say that it has Windows 10 built into it. If we look here on the I/O options, you're going to have 2 HDMI outputs, 1 gigabit LAN. You got your audio with microphone, headset jack, basically, a DC input, and USB 4, which actually means USB number 4. It's got 2 USB 3s. It's going to have USB 2.0 on 2 ports, and looks like nothing else. Sometimes they have a VGA. This one does not. So there we go. So Jonathan Talks Hardware says 128 gigs, not big enough. I'm with you there, but it's actually going to be kind of cool because you could install Linux on this thing. If I had more time, I would. That was a lot of people said. So that would be really good. And hey, I see another new face here. Jason, thank you for joining. Jason says here that my first live stream. Hey, everyone. Hey, Jason. Nice to see you, man. So let's plug this thing in. I'm going to go ahead and show you what else we get in the box here. Very similar to the Camruis, but they call this generic. So I don't know if they're trying to change their branding here. But power supply here, it's going to be 12 volt at 2.5 amps. So 30 watts of power, a mini HDMI cable, and a VESA adapter. So if you have a monitor, a freestanding monitor, you can put this into that monitor and click this down, and you can use the VESA mounting plates. Looks like it's got some extra screws. Now, there is no openings on the outside of this thing, but my guess is if you pull off, and we may do that, if you pull off these feet, you're probably going to have access to the innards of this thing. So this is all we need to get going. I'm going to go ahead and put the HDMI away. Bring you guys back out here for a sec. If you do have any questions, this is live, so you can absolutely let me know what you think. I'm going to tell you one thing. I have a special network cable. I've learned my lesson after that video. So I have this special network cable over here. It goes straight over to my UDM, and the only network that is allowed on this cable is that untrusted, locked down, guest isolated network. So we're going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and plug this thing in. This power outlet on the desk has been absolutely awesome to have. I installed this desktop power port the other day on the show. 2 outlets and USB Type-C and USB-A charging. So it's awesome. So we're going to go ahead and plug this thing in. Let me make sure I know which input this is going to. So bench used to be 3. I'm going to bring it up here We're going to boot it up for the very first time. I also need a keyboard and mouse. So I just plugged it in here. I'm going to put a keyboard and mouse on it. Yeah. New show, dropping things already. Here we go. Okay. And it is already looking like it's got lights on the network port. I don't see any other lights coming out of it. Oh, there's one on the front. So it's got a blue light on the front. There we go. AMI BIOS there. American Megatrends Inc. I kind of want to go into the setup here. I just want to show you the BIOS on this thing so we can see what it is. 8 gigs of RAM here. You guys can hopefully see that okay. Date on it is off by about a month, looks like. One of the things that I noticed here is they didn't have secure boot on their other ones, but this one does have a secure boot option, which is kind of cool. There is some more of the BIOS. It's got UEFI firmware on it, and it's going to do the hard disk as the first boot up here. Interesting. Jonathan says you might get one of those Ubiquiti thingies. Yeah. Oh my gosh, you got to get into the UniFi line. It is so nice. You can literally control everything all through a GUI. It's really good. So not much going on here. It literally has that built-in hard drive. So it is using the UEFI BIOS, and it is booting off of that. So that's the mode that it has here. So I'm not going to do any changes. I'm just going to say exit, and we're going to see what the setup experience is like if I try to use this network that I have it plugged into. So this is a separate private network, and this is what I learned my lesson on. So this mini PC, if you guys are looking into it, was $69. That's what we're doing. So a $69 mini PC with Windows. We can see that it's got Windows installed on it here. I'm guessing this version of Windows is not legal, but we're going to find out pretty darn quick here. We'll see if this also has the hacked installer. We don't know if this has got a virus on it either. So that's another interesting quirk that we're going to look at too. That's one of the first things that I'm interested in seeing here. American says 69. Nice. Yeah, absolutely. It was 59 the day later. But again, you know, I'm using mini PCs all of the time right now. It is really slowly booting up here. So I'm going to let that thing boot up as we go. This sign behind me is a mini PC. That's a PowerPoint presentation running inside a mini PC. So there are use cases where mini PCs make a ton of sense. Running Linux would be good. IoT devices would be great. Little home theater interfaces if you need to have a little bit more power than maybe your Fire Stick or other stuff allows. So I can definitely see some advantages to those kind of things here. So still booting up. Definitely not the fastest thing in the world. Is this where it's phoning home? I didn't even think, but I should have had like a trace route or something going on here so we can see what it's doing. Let me see if I can set this up right. I'm going to do DVE 3, DVE 2 is 6, and I can put a side by side if we need to, but I'm going to do that for now. 1, 6. Sorry, 1 second. I'm just getting my cameras all lined up so we can do this. So it's asking for English, so we're going to say yes. And we're going to get going to the next here. I see the net guy burning on the background for a few seconds. The NetSec guy, American says, yeah, not yet. But so we're going through here. I just want to look at the keyboard layouts. We're going to see if it's actually going to come up and ask about networking. I'm not going to use a Microsoft account, even though I could. Any artifacting here is most likely my capture. If you're seeing a little bit of artifacting on that, my capture board does that sometimes. So I'm just checking in here. Definitely not the fastest thing. Let's go take a look at the Amazon listing while we're waiting. I'm just going to run over to that real fast, and I can bring that up for you guys as well. So this is the Amazon listing that we're looking at. So it is a Celeron 4000. It does have 2.4 and 5G Wi-Fi. It's got the 128 M.2 built into it. It only had 3 ratings until this thing got pulled or is now currently unavailable. So who knows the story with that. But if you come down here, this was my interesting thing on it. It says strong technical support and warranty with Windows 10 Pro. It's also compatible with Ubuntu. Okay, well, Windows 10 Pro on what was a $69 mini PC. Pretty amazing that they can do that pricing. So we'll come back over here and see how its setup is. Oh, good advice here. I didn't even think about that. Americans telling us if you use the world option for the area, it will not load most of the bloatware that Windows is known for. Man, I learned something new every day. That's awesome. I never knew that. I guess you're working with the GPDR or whatever it is, privacy regulations. That's kind of interesting. So it is on the network setup side here, and it's saying please don't turn off your device. Let's see if it'll skip by this. We'll get this thing going. Still setting things up. We'll see if this one has Chrome on it or anything. So this one is not going to win any races. I'll put it that way. For $69, you are probably better off on Linux on this thing. So that's kind of what I was going to do. Is I wanted to do that. Ernest Guzman or Elmas, sorry, on that says block everything with AdGuard. Yeah, that's one way to do it. So very nice. So yeah, this is the mini PC we're checking out here. We are just getting installed. Celeron 4000 is not very powerful. Now, in contrast, the 8008 was an Intel 11900H. So that thing had tons of cores, tons of threads. It was a decent machine. And someday, if you install Windows Clean on it, I am working with Ace Magic right now to see if they can change a little bit of their ways. I would love specifically to see if they start using real Windows licenses. So now what's funny is it has not prompted me for any sort of user information. Have you noticed that? So this is kind of like the system out of the box experience, but it hasn't asked me for any user account at all, if you guys have seen that. And it almost looks like it's ready to go to the desktop, which, that's unique. Well, there's the reboot. So it's going back through the reboot process. 8 gigs of RAM is surprising. So, you look at the price of RAM and SSDs this day. So for $69, I got a 128 gig, I'm guessing onboard motherboard. I don't know if the 8 gigs is actually removable. Now I'm actually curious if I've got, I do have some small screwdrivers that we can check this out with and see if maybe you can pull an 8 gig memory stick out of it, or if it is upgradable at all. So it's doing its startup here. We may have to come back to this thing if it's, I don't want to bore you guys to tears here. Oh, you know what? It didn't even ask us for the user. Did you notice that? I'm going to say, hey, everyone on Amazon. Windows 10 license agreement. A volume license customer, the use of this is subject to your license agreement required for a license from Microsoft as its distributors. May not use this software unless you've acquired valid license for the software from Microsoft or its distributors. So that's an interesting question. I don't know on that one for Windows 10. Okay, so who will use this PC? Now, it's actually not doing a network setup. So I'm just going to say user, no password. It did not prompt me for a Microsoft account, though. I'll show you what I normally do. I do find my device and location, but everything else off. And so we'll see. So let me know if that, no, I don't want any Cortana, anything else. This thing's already going to be hurting. But I wonder what installer of this is of Windows that it doesn't actually do any sort of setup of OneDrive or any of those other stuff. Very interesting. Let me know in the comments if you on Windows 10 are prompted for a Microsoft account. I think you were, but it was optional. Like you could skip by and do a local account or those kind of things. I am literally plugged into the network here, and it does have internet access, so it shouldn't have that. Pinky Text checking in. He says, how much spyware does this one have? I don't know. I did plug it into a specific network segment. You'll love the IP address range that does not allow network access to the rest of my machines. It does have internet access, it's pretty decent, but it is going to take several minutes to set up here. So Pinky saying, usually with Pro, you don't have to use a Microsoft account. I thought it was interesting that this thing didn't even ask me. It didn't even say, hey, do you want to use a Microsoft account? That was kind of an interesting deal with that one. So we'll let this one run here for a second. I can put it side by side. So yeah, overall, a tiny little machine. It is super light. I may see a fan in the bottom here. That'll be interesting. So let me see if I can switch you over to that on the side here. So we're just taking a look real quick. So there is a fan hole on the bottom here. There's the two VESA mounting locations with that adapter. And I'm going to go ahead and just pull these little feet off, because usually, without breaking a nail, yeah, so there's going to be screw holes underneath there. We're going to take this thing apart here in a second because I want to see what it is. I don't even think this thing could run a Defender scan because it's probably so slow. It would take it forever to scan with Defender. It'd be pretty funny. Awesome. So hopefully you guys are having a great Thursday. This is not my normal day, but we've had all sorts of craziness. It is my wife's birthday this weekend, so happy birthday to her. We've got a ton of family in town. I wish I could show you guys, and if you follow me on Twitter or any of those, you will see a lot of posts that I do. We're playing video games and doing stuff. A PC that I built many, many moons ago, if you guys are longtime viewers of the channel, the Coast Guard PC. Well, our stepson from the Coast Guard has come back here. Oh, look at that. We are ready to go. So it says that it's on. Oh, I got to go to this PC. Sorry about that. And there we go. Now, do we want to allow this? Sure, why not? We'll let it look at this network because this network is completely locked down. And I'm actually going to bring up the Windows here. I'm going to hide that so I can go over to Windows. And we're going to take a look. There's a couple things I wanted to show real quick, and I might have to zoom in for you guys to see this. So activation is the first thing I want to know. So let's take a look at what kind of license this thing's running. There's a lot of artifacting I noticed, and I can't tell if that's my capture board. So it's a license of Windows 10 Pro digital license. Now, if it's a volume license, and I'm going to do command, I'm going to do it with the elevated permissions. And then it's SLMGR/DLV, I believe. This is a software license manager, and this should give us, and I'm going to zoom it in for you guys if everything works right on this mini PC. There we go. Volume Mac channel. You'll see it. So it's Windows 10 Professional Edition, but this is the multiple activation key. So this is what you would usually sell to an enterprise that was going to do a bunch of fleet deployment, and they had like a Windows image that they wanted to deploy to a bunch. But this is not a for resale key for home users to buy off Amazon. So they're definitely not using a legitimate Windows license here. And that's been the whole problem. And that's why on the outside of it, it has that sticker that says, if it's not working right, go ahead and take it off the network if you're not able to sign up. Another thing that's happened to me before with these kind of keys, and these keys are stored in the BIOS, so that's going to be an issue here. So you can't really change that key out in the BIOS. I don't know if there's an editor for it or not. But another thing that's happened to me before is if you resell these, you give them to somebody else maybe, or you donate them to somebody and they want to wipe them, you can't get your account in there. When you try to boot it up and you try to log in with a legit copy of Windows that's not modified, you have difficulty unless you're an enterprise or work user. So a couple things I'm going to do real fast on this is I just want to check if we have an OS ver folder. Okay, we do not have the OS ver folder, which is what the other one had before that was having all the issues for me. So I guess in that case, that's good. But it definitely is the wrong kind of licensing. So I am working with a couple OEM license vendors, which are going to basically be a sponsor of the channel. It sounds like going forward, if you want to get good OEM licenses that work, that's something you can do. So looking good here. Fresh copy of Windows, free, a key from SCD Keys. There you go. Yeah, absolutely, Jonathan. That's the way to do it. So it does have Windows, looks like Windows 10 installed. So for $69, you have to tell me CPU is at 100% and we haven't done anything. Let's see if this even actually has 2 cores. I believe it's a 2-core. Yeah, the N4000. So you can see this thing, it basically struggles to run anything. So that's what you're getting here. Hide Jonathan's comment. But overall, again, it is less than the cost of a memory stick and an SSD right now, even if it's a junky SSD here. And so I'm going to go ahead and shut this thing down, and then I'm going to take a look at the innards of it. I'm going to let you guys geek out a little bit, and then we're going to go on to our other products. But it definitely works. I'll do a full scan, and we'll get all forensic on this thing and see how it's working here in the future. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take it on the top down, and let's crack this thing open and see what makes it tick, right? So here we go. And if you got any questions in the meantime, just feel free to shoot them in the chat. I'm watching the chat here. Okay. Well, they use some good adhesive on the feet. I'll give them that. And I'm going to go ahead and unplug the power to this thing and that private network connection that we had for it. So that was not on our public network connection. Okay. There's one. My powered screwdriver is not happy today. I have not charged it up in a while, and I think it's feeling it. So we got 3. Let's take a look on the inside. Now it says it's got 128 gigs of ROM, but it also said it was on an M.2. And I don't know if they're using a SATA SSD or if they're using an M.2. Okay, so there's our 4 screws. Let's see if this thing will come apart. Man, I almost need my phone tool kit because this clamshell is in tight. There we go. Pop it around the front. That's what it was. Okay. Yeah, and the way this design is, it's not like it's got much holding it. There is one sticky spot right there at the back. Okay. So this board is installed basically upside down. There is a little button on here. It's covered up. So that must be like a BIOS reset or a tracking device. So there you go. There's the bottom of the motherboard that's in it. Very tiny board. Yeah, and it is installed upside down. It's got one fan, it looks like, and it's ducted. It looks like we will be able to flip it over. I'm going to go ahead and put this cover back on here. And it looks like with 3 screws, I should be able to flip it over and we'll get to the meat of it, or 4 screws. So tiny little machines. And again, I'm not a anti mini PC. In fact, I said earlier, 3 other vendors that are looking to show what a good mini PC is like. We'll take a look at this thing. Hopefully it flips over easily. There we go. So there it is. So there's your 128 gigabyte M.2 SATA drive. Looks like it has a SATA port on the board here, so you could put some sort of drive. There's no room to mount it. There's a couple other I/O, like a ribbon cable connector here. So there's some interesting stuff, but there you go. You can take a look at that's the 128 gig M.2 SATA series. So that's older drives they're getting rid of here. But, basically an entire system on a mini motherboard here. There's all the audio. Looks like a couple extra headers here. There's either that's a power header or something, and a 3-pin in that corner. So not bad. I will throw this thing back together, but if you guys had any questions, let me know. Somebody's asking, Chris is asking, what SBC is this? And it's funny, I'll go back actually to the Amazon page. We have no idea. This one says generic, brand generic. But from everything I can tell, so this is generic everything, who knows? But everything I've seen on this one, it really reeks of Ace Magic and Camrui and all the other ones. And what's interesting is, even though it's an off-branded one, that this mini PC has the same model numbering. I'll put that out on Twitter here. But the box has the same exact, actually, you know what? I think I can do it on the side camera. Let me bring you guys over here onto the side. So this was the box from the Ace Magic that we had so much fun with. And this is the generic box for mini PC. And we're going to take you guys up here, and hopefully you guys can see those stickers there. So those are the model stickers that they put on the CMN number. Now, the one that doesn't have the P2 designation, this is the one that had all the spyware and viruses on it. The other thing that's interesting, I guess fonts, whatever they are, they are slightly different, but that's the branding, mini PC. That's the only branding on it. So yeah, definitely interesting. So that was the mini PC to kick us off on the show today. I will investigate that one further, and you'll get some more investigative YouTube journalism here. And I'm going to take us back here to the show, and I'm going to get the next product up, which is actually a set of headphones. Now, this is kind of cool. So if this is your first time here, again, I do product reviews. I get tech, home, and tool products. I've got some really cool tool stuff coming up next week. But I also do a lot of headphones and accessories and phone accessories here. Jason's saying, I have a Camry and it is cheap and light. So there you go. I have a Camry as light and cheap and made in plastic. Absolutely. That's normally what they are. Yeah, that's what you get. And then what is Doug and Nikki? Welcome. Another set of Amazon influencers. What's a good use for a mini computer? I might actually now have to bring that up. Let me bring my keyboard over here. I'm going to finish up this other segment before we go on here and we'll restart. But behind me, my digital signage up here that I'm using is actually just Windows. It's Windows running on a mini PC. So I use a wireless mouse, and the mouse is normally connected to my other one, but that's my desktop on it. So I literally have a very tiny, I believe it's a Camry mini PC that's running this. You can run Windows, basic Office apps. Gaming is really, really tough. So to answer your question, Doug and Nikki, gaming, unless you have a pretty high spec mini PC, you're not going to be playing Fortnite or the other games. That's what was so exciting to me about the 8008, the one that they sent me out, was it was a pretty high spec machine. It had pretty decent graphics. Some of the 5700U mini PCs, you might be able to play some low spec games on. So fantastic question, but yeah, that's absolutely what I use mine for. So you can go see, I can go through some different logos up here. I like that one today. We'll use that one today, but that's absolutely what one of the uses of mini PCs for digital signage. You can also install Linux on them. That's a real popular use case. For a kid's first PC, I wouldn't necessarily give them Windows. I'd give them Linux if I could. That would be a really good use case. Americans coming in and saying, could be a good cheap NVR, network video recorder. If you got a lot of storage, and the Intels, like that 8008 again, has quick sync for video. So I don't think the Celerons have quick sync decoding, but if you have quick sync for video, you can do video encoding. So that can be really good for that NVR usage. Great point there, American. So I did just pull this up in the carousel. I am a big fan of the open style headphones, the open ear headphones. I'll show you. I've done this one on the show in the past, these OpenCom by Shokz. So you guys can take a quick look at these. So these OpenComs here I've used in the past. These are about $160 and they've got amazing noise canceling, but they don't actually go in your ear. These are also waterproof, so you could swim with them if you wanted. There's no holes in them either. So this one doesn't have anywhere for water or sweat to get in. So if you're sharing with a child or somebody else, a set of headphones, these are great for working out. You don't have to worry about sweat hurting them. But today I got sent out this product, which is really cool. This is a set of sport headphones from ANC Wear. But what's neat about these ones is they are an open style, but they are not bone conduction, whereas the other ones are bone conduction. These ones do actually have a speaker opening, and the speaker opening is pretty small, and it's really just designed to go towards your ear. So you're going to be able to hear these. So will other people around you. So you got to be careful about that if you're trying to listen. One of the things I like about the bone conduction, people can't really hear them unless they're right up on your ear. Whereas these don't go inside your ear. So a couple things about that. You're going to have better hygiene if you don't have something sticking in your ear like an AirPod or an earbud. So these go on the outside. The one thing that's nice about this style versus the bone conduction is if you have sideburns like myself. So let me get you on the side GoPro here. When I put these on, and I put the bone conduction ones, they do fit. Now this one's a little bit interfering with the other one, but they fit right past the front of the ear. But if you have sideburns that are covering, bone conduction is not going to work. So this one actually works pretty well. Only 3 buttons to use on this one, makes it really easy. You've got a volume, up, down, and then a multifunction button. But with those 3 buttons, you can actually increase your volume, skip tracks forward. It's all the standard commands. It does have access to Siri or your Android assistants on here. It does have a pretty quick charging system. Let me show you that. It charges for 2 hours. If you charge it for 2 hours, you get a full 8 hours of playtime. So 4-to-1. There's the little charger. It is magnetic charging because there are no holes on this. Now, it doesn't say in the directions that these are waterproof. Now, I want to go check the Amazon listing, see if they've updated it. Because, it has all the hallmarks of a waterproof, but it does have a magnetic recharging. So 2 hours on the charger are going to get you 8 hours of listening time and 20 hours of standby. Another cool thing that these ones have is they also have multi-device connections. So I have two phones here. I have my PC that I'm doing conference calls on all the time, and I can switch over to these. I did give these a full run through of my standard headphone test tracks. The bass is not there at all. So if you're listening to podcasts, ebooks, or just, Taylor Swift, it's going to be great. If you're not listening to something with a lot of bass, these are not your bass boosted headphones. They're not going to work well with bass. But overall, let me show you the Amazon page, and I'll show you why I was so excited about these. So go back here, and I'll bring this up for you guys. I do love the color of this one. I'm surprised. I wish I would have asked them to send me the white and orange, because this has a different look that you don't normally see in these. But the price here is $29.99 right now and 10% off. So you're looking at about $26. That's 6 times cheaper than the open comms. Now, the microphone is not noise canceling. I wanted to have a sample. I'll have my editor throw a sample here right now of the microphone so you can hear what the microphone on it sounds like. But it is Bluetooth on here. 5.3 is the technology on the Bluetooth. And so at 70% volume, they say you're going to get 8 hours of playtime. They have two colors. They have the lunar gray here, and then they also have the black like I have, which would be really cool. So that is from ANC Wear, which is pretty cool. I am going to shut this one down here. Now they're showing you the pieces of this. And I am going to pull up our next product. So I want to thank these guys for sending this product for a fair and honest review. Overall, my thoughts on it: good audio for, basic listening. If you're listening to podcasts, like I said, you're listening to normal stuff. It's got good mids, and it's going to have much better highs, honestly, than the Bone Conduction, because they suffer with the high frequencies. But this is the opposite problem. It doesn't have the low range if that's what you're looking for. So the next product up is a repeat brand. This is from Goyojo. Now, they made, if I still have it over here, I absolutely do. Goyojo makes this thermal imaging camera and a bunch of other imaging and other instruments. Very a big fan of this one. I was super happy with this. It is just fantastic product, built-in memory, very easy to use. So they said, hey, what do you think about checking out our night vision? Now, if you're thinking about infrared night vision, there are many, many different types of infrared night vision. So I got to qualify this and be really careful when I do. Give me 1 second. I'm going to bring us back over here so I can see this. I'm going to bring up our caption. So if you guys are looking for these products, you can check the video description, or you can hit that URL down below, and it's the link in the very first idea list there. So this is their 3D 4K night vision. Now, I was already suspect when I saw 3D and 4K, but it's a set of binoculars. These are technically night vision illuminators. So traditional night vision is going to take whatever's light is available, and it's going to amplify it. This is kind of, if you think back to like the 1990s, early 2000s video camera days, this is going to have an infrared view. So we're going to go here on the top down so I can do a quick unbox for you. But it's basically an infrared flashlight, a super powerful infrared flashlight, and an infrared camera in one, which is going to translate that into something that we can see. So it is going to be a black and white view of the world. I do love a couple things about this. One, comes with a good carrying case, and it comes with a ton of accessories, including a micro SD card. It's going to come with one right away. Different kind of headset mounts. So if you don't want to mount it to a traditional headset, you can just put this over your head and you can walk around like that guy right there. I would not recommend this for driving any vehicles or anything like that. It can actually be dangerous for doing that because it has a 3x zoom. So, hey, thanks, Doug and Nikki. They're watching out for me. 17 people watching, only 10 likes so far. I appreciate this. If it's digital night vision goggles, they are just cameras with IR lights. Absolutely. You got this, American. Now, there's a place in the world for these kind of things, but they do have adapters if you do have one of those combat headsets or even just a work helmet or something like that. So they're going to have a lot of different ones. I can't tell if this is even a GoPro mount. It looks very, very similar. So bunch of different kinds of mounting methods, and then they're going to have screws and a heavy magnet right here for that screw. Now the unit itself, very light, very compact. The way I used it, I use this neck lanyard. So you just put it around like a set of binoculars. It does start out with a 3x zoom. It is not three-dimensional though. So when it says 3D, naked eye 3D and 4K, it's not that. I have to call them out on that. The other thing is when you look at here, when you're setting the PD distance, the pupil distance there between your eyes, and you do that here, it actually twists the image. So you see how the image is like lifting up and turning. So I would rather that it had some other adjustment for the eyes versus this, which is actually pulling it apart. Overall, the UI in it, I'll show you where that boots up in here. So if we look in the top down, you can actually see out of that eyepiece, there's an image. And out of that eyepiece, there is also another image. As some of these ones will actually go to the same screen. This one actually does have a display in each eyepiece. Now, that said, if I put my hand over it, nothing on that one, but you can see how when I put my hand over this one side, it changes both. That's because it's not three-dimensional. It is just a single camera on one side and an incredibly powerful infrared illuminator. Now, sometimes my GoPro can pick this up. It's not picking that up. I wish it could. I wanted to do some testing on it at night. But I do have some samples of it. You'll see what it is. It has 7 levels of infrared. So this is, again, a flashlight and a camera built in, but you use it like night vision goggles. If you bring up the infrared, you can do that. It has several different modes, from photo taking to video modes. The video says 4K. It's going to be a solid 1080. You'll see here in just a sec. A shoot button and then a bunch of menus. And actually, it's going to be hard because I can't show you the menu system in there, but when you hit the button, you can go through all the menus. You do have to focus it manually. It is not auto-focusing, and the focus ring is on the camera side only. So that takes a little bit of getting used to. I also did mention that it has the micro SD, which I've installed here. So there's a USB connector. It is rechargeable, so it's going to last for several hours. Well, less if you use more light, obviously, output from it. And then there's the micro SD there. So the light that it's outputting is infrared wavelength. You're not going to see this light, nor will anybody that you're looking at. And that's the point of this kind of a device. I'm going to get you up here on the side so you can see it a little better. That's the point of this kind of device, is it's really, if I'm looking in the backyard at night because I heard something, I don't want to shine a flashlight and let somebody know I'm in a certain window or in a certain place. I can simply just look through these goggles and actually see them, or see the animal, or see whatever. We had a black bear last year in the summer that came through and it was freaking everybody out. But you'll be able to see something with this. That said, I'm going to show you guys some examples of what it looked like, and I'll just kind of narrate through as we go. So let me pull that up real quick here. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the Goyo Night Vision, and we'll get that started. Okay. Hopefully that's supposed to be playing back. Here we go. So this is from my GoPro, the level of light that my GoPro, which is usually good at night, there's barely any lights on the other side of the valley here. I actually went out and made sure there was almost no light. This is a still photo that it took with the night vision. So when I say night vision, again, we're using an IR illuminator. Now that barn is that black thing you can't see on the right side. My headlights are the only thing visible that night. This was the view through the night vision binoculars. Now, one thing I'll say, because it is casting out light, something real close like that is getting blown out. So you constantly have to be changing the illumination. But this is about a quarter mile away. It is a 3x optical zoom. You can see me adjusting the focus there. So about a quarter mile away, and I'm casting that light. So an incredibly powerful IR spotlight, basically. And then you can tone it down here by changing it down, and you can see up close to you, which is cool. So I tried it in a couple different areas. This is the darkest field I could find, and it's actually illuminating it. This is a street, and when you see me turn it off, you can see how dark that street is. That street is almost pitch black from way down there, is the only optical light. Now I have it on zoom mode. There are levels of zoom with this. Now, this is a house that is down the hill there. That light is on its garage. This is what it looks like through that IR illuminator. I'm looking in the windows of the house, which is kind of crazy. And now that's the only visible light was on the barn there. And this is me again looking down the road. And this is completely pitch black. You'll see it when I switch off the illuminator. But I'm looking down the roadway. I would not, again, drive with this, but you can see how pitch black the area was. and that's the illumination you get from it. So very specific purpose-built use case for this one from Goyojo. Now, is it living up to the claims? I hate it when somebody says it's a 4K. If we pull the file up, it's not actually. I think it's 2K resolution at best, and if that, it could be upsampled or whatever. It is not 3840 or 4K resolution. It's definitely not three-dimensional. So again, I try to call people out here if they're not. So it's not doing 3 dimensions on this. It is giving you stereo optic, which is maybe what they were trying to say. So you get to see out of both eyes. It's not a monocle. Let's put it that way. So that's another interesting thing. Where will I use this? Well, one, at the house here, if there's a bump in the night, I know I can walk up and start using these. Now, it doesn't work through glass because of that infrared, basically, spotlight that it has. So you do have to have a window open or an opening here. I also want to use this on my boat. We go boating all the time. We'll stay at a marina at night, or we'll stay out at anchor at night, and it's completely pitch black. You don't know if there's a log out there or an animal or a whale or whatever. So I want to use this out on my boat and try it out here. Just looking at the comments real quick. Hey, we got Paul checking in. Paul, again, completely live show, says, good to see you again, Paul. Good to see you as well. Looking at this video latency, digital night vision goggles will have video latency, which is kind of nausea compared to real. That's true. Yeah. In this one, it's very, very low there. As you're moving, it's not much. The frame rate might be disconcerting because I think there's a limited frame rate on here. If anybody looks at you with real night vision goggles, you're going to be lit up like a Christmas tree and be obvious far away. So thank you, American, for checking in with that. That's really good. IR is not good for observing lizards and cold-blooded animals because they'll be able to see IR. Oh, interesting. I did not know that. American, thanks for checking in. He's our night vision expert here. So again, this is the Naked Eye night vision. We're going to go back over to the Amazon page. We'll take a look at the Amazon page real quick for this. You'll see what they are. They are $279. They have a $30 coupon right now. It looks like they have a more affordable option in the 1080p version at 165. So if it performs very similarly, I don't know if you're getting much difference for the 4K, but that's the 1080 full HD version. And there's just a couple pictures of it up close and the different use cases that you have for it. But again, because it does have that automatic 3x zoom, you're going to have to be really careful. You won't be able to drive or really walking in this. It's not really for that. It does have a tripod mount on the top side of it, it has a mount on the top side of it for, various helmets, but I would have liked to see a tripod mount on it because I think it would actually benefit from being stabilized in that way. So that is from the Goyojo company. I want to thank them for sending that out for a fair and honest review. And we will get on to our next couple of products here. Awesome. So hopefully you guys are having a great Thursday and have good weekend plans. I am going to be super busy, as I was mentioning earlier. Give me 1 second to clear this out and we'll get reset for our next product. So the next product up is actually for all of you campers, outdoorsmen, or people that need to have an off-grid solution. I showed you a product a few weeks ago, and actually they did a great deal for my customers. They gave a $200 off coupon code, and this is from All-Like. This is ALL-Like, so All-Like company. This is their 1,000-watt-hour power system. So it's got a flashlight, it's going to have AC, DC, tons of charging options. But what do you do if you're gone or out for multiple days? I'm looking at going camping for multiple days this summer, running some Starlink, possibly using my computer all day long. I'm going to need a way to recharge this, and I don't generally want to have to restart my boat or start a car and try to plug it in. Imagine trying to charge one of these when you're out camping. You got to plug it into your car and leave it running forever. That's not going to work really well. So you need to have a solution for charging your portable generator. So the SN1000 portable generator, I'm going to put that back here just so we have it handy. And then I'm going to unbox this for you, but I actually have some usage because this thing is so big, it's not going to fit in here well. But I do want to show you the unboxing of it. This is a 100-watt portable solar panel system from All-Like. So Has pretty good branding here. It's going to have some information. So it does have these foam protectors on the side. It arrived in a very large box and very safe from Amazon, so they shipped it really well. But what's neat about this is kind of this accordion style. This is the only amount of space that it takes up. So you have 100 watts of solar in a spot that could fit, in a side panel of a car. But what's neat about it is you can actually open it up. It's magnetic closure. I'm going to show you how big this gets here. But you open it up, and now you've got 100 watts of complete solar here, and you can angle it towards the sun. One thing you're going to find out if you do a lot of solar, and I started this, I've got a 175 watt flexible solar panel on the roof of my boat now. This thing will actually outperform that if it's properly angled towards the sun. So my other one is convex. It doesn't get the sun, but in the very peak of the afternoon. This you can point towards the sun and you can get the angle. So it's not the amount of solar as much as the angle to the sun. So the way I'm able to do that so easily is these built-in feet. So it's got these built-in feet, so you can collapse it up like I showed like that. You can bring it all the way out, and when you get it flat, that's when you kick the feet out. But let's take a look here. I'm going to show you what's in this bag, because that's the other cool part about it. Bringing you guys in on the top down here. So this bag has your connectors here. Now, what's neat about this one is if you have an RV and you want to plug your RV in, it has standardized MC4 connectors. Beauty about MC4 connectors when you're dealing with power and solar and all that stuff, these are all standard now. So you got a positive and a negative, the red being the positive towards the generator. But it does come with another, let's do our quick cable test here. It looks like another more than 6 feet of cable, plus whatever your loop is here. We'll go take a look. So very easy again to hook up. Go ahead and plug this one there, plug this one there. And now I've got at least 12, maybe 15 feet of cable to plug in to my solar generator outside or inside or wherever it's at. So the neat thing about those solar generators is you can also be charging and using them at the same time. So on the back of the solar generator, let me show you that. They have this port. Now you can do a traditional AC input, but this is they're going to be their solar charging plug. So it'll plug in just like that, and it's going to charge this up while it's in use. So you can actually turn this unit on, use what power it has, and be charging it the entire time. So that's brilliant. Pricing on solar panels is moving around a lot. There are some very low quality solar panel manufacturers out there, especially in the flexible range. And if they do get flexed incorrectly, they can start a fire. So that's always dangerous. This is a very sturdy panel option. So with these two combined, you literally have 1,000 watts, which will run multiple computers, 1,000 watt hours, and the ability to get up to 100 watts to recharge them. So that's what this is their 100 watt recharging panel. I'm going to take a quick look here at the chat, see if we've got any questions. Another interesting thing here, let me show you on the top down. So this is the quick start guide. It shows you everything about it. There's also going to be this technical spec label, and that's what you want to see on any solar. This one has an efficiency of 22.8%. That's really, really high. So like I said, you can get cheaper solar panels, and you can get hard panels that, when you actually are trying to take them with you, they take up way too much room. This compact folding design is really awesome. This is going to work -4 to 149 degrees. The maximum current is going to be at 20.8 volts, and it's going to go 4.8 amps. Now, what's neat about this is you could use this with another person's charge controller if it manages to run these specs, which is pretty normal here. But additionally, you don't need a solar charge controller if you plug it into the All-Like or any other brand that has a solar capable input. It is waterproof, IP68, water and dust proof. That's what it is. And it is a monocrystalline solar panel with MC4 connectors, as I mentioned earlier. So there you go. That's the safety information and instructions for it. It shows you how to there, kick out those feet. But I'm actually going to pull up an example. It is Washington State, so we have very little sun right now. So it was a little bit of a challenge. As soon as the sun came out, I ran over to our church and I said, hey, I got to try this thing out. And it was kind of late in the day. So when I was talking about that inclination of the sun, if this was mounted flat on a van roof or anything, it would not be bringing anything up. Now you can mount this. It does have grommets, so you could hang it or mount it or do some other thing. But the cool thing about it is the portability of it. Let me show you that real quick. You'll get to see the 100-watt solar system here and what it was capable of doing. So as you can see, this is my car. I actually have it on the hood of my car there, so you can see it going around. I'm just taking a quick look at it. I put it up on the windshield. Depending on the angle of the sun, you could lay it flat on the windshield. You could lay it flat on the top of your car. In my case, the sun was kind of low on the horizon, being the winter in the Northwest. You can see where it is way over there. So I just kicked the feet out, threw it up on my hood, and I'm literally charging. And I topped off my solar generator to 100%, like almost instantly. It didn't take long at all. And that's what I was just showing you, is I just run those connectors down and plug it into the back of this unit. And now you're charging completely off grid, which is pretty sick. So I like that. Now, it doesn't have to be on a vehicle. If you're going to go camping, you just want to leave this on a picnic table or something. You can see I'm at 100% there. Very easy to open, to stow, to do all that stuff. Here, hopefully I'm going to come up in a second and I'll just show you how you can collapse it. It's a little tricky to try to put it on a long hood like that, but it actually worked. Again, you don't have to be moving this all the time, but it is going to outperform a fixed solar panel that was flat on a roof by 5-fold easily. So maybe you just want to set this out on some grass. That's what I'm doing here. So I set it up that way. Pretty easy. And you can angle it with those back connectors. You see how easy that is. But this is from the All-Like company. If it does get the maximum of 100-watt solar, which is pretty rare to actually get the maximum on these, you'll get about 80% pretty routinely in full sun, maybe 90% efficiency out of this, the rating. So you can count on 90 watts. Then you can divide that out. So, in a situation like this, it actually might take, oh, sorry, it just looped on me. I was trying to hit it off once and it just hit replay somehow. So, you may be able to charge a 1,000-watt unit, because this one will get all the way down to the bottom to 0. It doesn't have any memory or anything like that. It'll take you 12 hours of sun to fill it up completely. But the neat thing about having 100 watts is it's a whole lot better than like a Jackery 60-watt, which I've shown you before. Very similar panel size. Actually, I think the Jackery, because it only folded twice, was actually bigger. But because this xylophone's into 4, and you can see how skinny that is when it's down, you actually have more solar capacity here, though. So let's take a quick look at the Amazon page for this so you guys can see that. And you can see right now it is $249, but they've got a 10% going and it's stackable. You can add $50 off, and this will work with other manufacturers' solar generators. You just have to have the MC4 to whatever connector or that orange connector style. But this will get it down to 173 if my math is right. So pretty slick deal. And again, 23% overall efficiency of the panel, which is a great efficiency rating. So it's that newer style panel. It is waterproof. You don't have to worry about leaving this thing out in the rain. It's going to be good for your off-grid cabin, your boat, your camping life. And I know as COVID kind of taught everybody to go work from pretty much anywhere, having power and the ability to recharge is a really cool thing. So grade A cells, it's saying, and they use an example of an RV. Like I said, with the MC4 connectors and that convenient, they're already built into it. Those you don't have to worry about going anywhere with. With those MC4 connectors, you can go right into a solar ready RV. So if you have one of those, this could be your toe dip into the pool. So you could buy this separately. You could buy the SN1000. This is their 1,000-watt solar. So you could buy either one of them first, chicken or the egg, and then you could charge them back up. So that is from the All-Like company. I want to thank them for sending that out for a fair and honest review. I can see this is going to be a lot of fun this summer. It's going to make my camping a whole lot better to have that capability. So the last product I have here doesn't actually fit on my counter. This was sent out by a local company called SimPure. They're a local company that makes reverse osmosis water filtration. So, what's reverse osmosis water filtration? That is the cleanest and highest technology water purification that you can get. Now, they sent a meter out for me to use, and I lost it. Completely lost. I don't know where it went. So I went out and bought another, the highest rated TDS meter. What's TDS? Total dissolved solids. This will actually tell you the quality of the water before and after. Now, I'll be honest, I live in the Pacific Northwest. We are green and clean up here. We have some of the best water in the country. There's places that bottle our water just to take it to other places, and California loves to take all their water that they can. But that said, even here, it could do an improvement. And I'm going to show you that real quick here. I'm going to pull this up. I do have the test video, which I'm going to show you first, and then I'm going to show you what it takes to install it, because actually it was quite reasonable as far as the steps required to get this thing installed and going. So this is the SimPure water quality test. Now this is an additional little spigot that goes next to your sink once it's all installed. Now I took regular old tap water from the main tap there, and I took this TDS meter here so you could see it, and I'll throw that in there. Now, a total dissolved solid rating of under 100 generally represents really good water. 300-ish or higher, you're starting to get hot springs and other stuff. My water's at 40. So again, that's pretty good. You can see the little rating that this TDS scale has on it. So 40 means I've got really clean municipal water. Americans checking in. He says, Southwestern Washington water sucks. It's too much dissolved solids coming off the spicy mountaineers. If you're getting well water, if you're getting water from all these other sources, now this is right from that tap. And I'm going to show you how much different it is. So the other previous test was at 40. Went out and got this thing again. It was funny because I didn't want to pollute the glass. So I did this one first and then I did it. So I cut it backwards though. I'll put that in here and you're going to get to see the total one. That is the best output that I've ever seen. And that's not a trick, because even though they sent me the meter, which I thought was really nice of them to do this demonstration with, I didn't actually use their meter. I lost their meter, so I had to go out and get my own. So I felt better about that. Let me see here. Somebody was picking up my email here. Paul, thank you. Sorry, Paul, I was just reading your question there. But yeah, American was just checking in on this, and he says about the Southwestern Washington water. My parents live in the very Southwest, and their water is hard. They've got a softener and a bunch of other stuff. This is going to have a reverse osmosis filter, a charcoal filter, and it's a tankless system. So what am I talking about? Well, let me go to the Amazon show listing here real quick for these guys, because that's the easiest way to show you the unit because it's already installed. And then I'm going to show you what it takes to install that unit. So this again is from SimPure. And now it is not cheap, but if you go out and look at the cost of filters, this one unit can actually even be plumbed into your fridge water. So I'll give you a good example. The filters for my GE fridge are over $50 each. I think they were $55 if I remember right at last check. And I have to change those out every 6 months. It complains. I have a fly in the studio. Not anymore. So I had to change those out every 6 months to a year. So after 10 years, I'll be spending over $500 in filters. This system here can provide that same purified water right from the tap. And it's even compatible if you wanted to run it into your fridge as the source. You can get a bypass filter for your fridge and use that. So 600 gallon per day rating here. Its pure ratio to drain is 2-to-1. Now, what that means is with the reverse osmosis, it's actually going to backfeed some water to flush out. So it has a waste line that you have to hook up, but it's actually going to remove those total dissolved solids and it's going to drain them out your drain. It doesn't have, the filter collecting them as easily there. So again, lots of information here. Like I said, a local company to me. So I want to thank them for sending it out. I am going to show you guys the installation steps. It's a little bit involved, but I just wanted to walk you through what it takes if this is something that interests you, so that you can see what you're up for. You don't have to have a ton of plumbing experience to do this, which is kind of cool. I'm going to walk you through all the steps. And if you actually have a house that is newer than mine, you may already have everything that you need underneath your uh oh, give me 1 second. It's not letting me pull that video up. That's the one video I need to show. Video storage. Give me 1 second. Oh boy. Okay, I may need to copy this one across the network. Or I could just play it right from the machine that I generated it from. Give me 1 second. Let's see. Cannot play video from storage. Contact support for help. How much are the consumables for this? We got Ron checking in, asking about that. Give me 1 second, Ron. I just want to make sure I'm on the right product here. You know what, Ron? I did not check the price of the filters and the filter replacement. We'll go check that on the Amazon page when I come back here. So that's a great question, and I want to answer that one for you, but I don't want to give you the wrong answer on it. And then we'll also see at the 600 gallon per day rating how long this will last. How often they recommend on filter replacement. But I'm just going to go ahead and bring up the installation video here on my laptop. I need to turn focus mode on. Do not disturb. And we're going to go to full screen. Okay, 1 second. Thank you guys for your patience here. I did put this whole video together for you to show you how it works. We're going to plug into the bench feed. We go up here so you guys can see me, and I will narrate through the SimPure installation process here. So I did this below my sink at home. This is a tool rolling bag that I used here from the Riker company. You'll see that next week on next week's show. I've been practicing different things. I've got some insulated screwdrivers and a non-contact voltage detector. This is our newly remodeled kitchen. We remodeled it not too long ago. I did a ton of plumbing here. You'll see we've got water to the dishwasher. We've got water to the fridge. We've got all sorts of stuff. So I went in there, and in the back of this area, I actually have an outlet that was for a garbage disposal, which we don't have. And so I was able to take this and use this and put a GFCI outlet. So we got to have that, GFCI because it's in a kitchen. But I was able to put power in here, and that's the only thing that was needed for this unit to run, is it needs to have the standard 120 volt power. Comes with an adapter. Now I'm going to use a tool here to cut out this little outlet plate on the top here because I need it to go up against the actual outlet, not just the wood here, so there's no gap. But what's ironic about this is actually using a tool from Wen, which I'm going to show on next week's show. So again, I'm giving you a little preview. I cut out this outlet here so that I could put my outlet plate on it and make it look all fancy for the wife. Now, I could do a better job if I actually wanted to disconnect a lot of these hoses and zip tie things out of the way, but I didn't go too crazy in here. If you need to put a GFI in, some of you guys in newer homes may already have these, to be honest. So it's kind of cool about this is that the GFCI breaker here, I think this is actually a combo AFCI, GFCI, so arc fault as well. So I put that in here real quick. That's the only thing that I needed to add. And in your case, if you're in a newer house, your garbage disposal and or your regular dishwasher may actually plug in. So you might already have that. This is a Zotec product that I showed on the show before. Just doing a quick check, make sure I got the polarity and everything right. And I hit a button here and it checks the GFCI, which does work. And so it is safe. I did everything correctly on that one. I also checked out the second plug just to make sure. You never know. And it came out clean as well. So we got that. Next step here is the plumbing part. And actually, I couldn't be happier with how easy this thing was to plumb. So take off the covers here. There's the charcoal filter and the reverse osmosis filter, very easily accessible. This other side doesn't open up. I was checking around because it looked like it might, and it doesn't. So it fit in there, and I'll show you at the very end how much room it takes, but it doesn't take much room at all. I was pretty surprised about that. Got some lighting in here for you. That is my water line to my fridge. Now, I traded it out with a stainless steel because my plastic one broke before, and that caused the kitchen remodel. But they come with all the tees and fittings you need for a variety of sizes here. In this case, I was just able to unthread that and put the source water right in there. And it's going to come with different size of these PEX hoses. So this is going to be your feed line. And you just put a nut over that, you squeeze that onto here, and it's a compression fitting. So one thing is a kind of a pet peeve is when you see that you have a rubber gasket, don't put any Teflon tape or anything. You don't need it. It actually can cause leaks. So in this case, I just made sure that it had room to get over there. This is going to have a drain. So in the reverse osmosis system, it is going to drain. It has a little sticker that they give you to find the appropriate spot. Really easy to follow instructions. I drilled the little 1/4 inch hole or whatever it needed. Because there's no pressure on this, this is just drain water. You can put that little gasket on there, and then they put this little collar on there. So again, you don't have to do significant cutting or anything. A simple drill and a wrench is all you need to get this installed, and that's the drain line. But we're going to hold off on that. We're going to install the freshwater line. Now, we have quartz countertops. My wife has always wanted her soap on that side. So I said, tell you what, I'll do the demo. I'll take your soap out here. We'll drill a new hole for the soap, but you can drill through whatever countertop material you have. In this case, I had to come under here, and we're back looking above my sink and use some tools to get that out, which came out pretty easily. So somebody saying nice New Balance shoes, Dad Mode Approve. I loved it. Thanks, man. My wife always cleans the countertop. I felt bad, so she wasn't there that night. So I cleaned the counter while I was doing this in homage for her. It has a gasket on the top and on the bottom. So we're going to put that gasket in real quick. We'll put the bottom gasket in. This is where 2 people would be really helpful. I was able to reach kind of winging out here and able to get both installed. Very easy to do the plumbing. Like I said, it does have little retention clips, which will, prevent these from ever coming off, but it's using that compression push on fittings with all the plastic, all the new things that everybody likes. So you don't have to do any screwing of anything in. It's all just press fit. And I'll show you that here now. So I push that fitting in, and all these fittings are going to have a little mark. I'll show you that here on the next part. You want to make sure you're pushing it all the way to the mark. You can kind of run your cables. They actually included zip ties. I didn't use them. Now, hindsight 2020, I probably could have looped this and made it prettier, but make sure you're pushing it in all the way to that line is what I was showing there. Same thing for the freshwater supply, which is going there. And then the same thing for the wastewater supply, which is the last one I hook up here, the red one. And then the last thing that I'm going to do overall is plug this thing into the power that I put in. Now it is 12 volts, I believe. When it gets converted, it looks kind of like a laptop power brick. I did turn the water on here, checking for leaks, make sure there was nothing before I got the electrical out. Water and electricity don't mix. That other little sensor that, by the way, that's on the ground there, that's actually my leak detector from Wyze. So I'm able to see if there's ever a leak when we're not away from, when we're not at home, which is kind of cool. So I plugged it all in, it turns on, and this thing, it's got a very low hum, but what it's doing is under incredible PSI pressure, it is pushing that water through a membrane, that reverse osmosis membrane, under incredible pressure, and that's what's filtering it. Now, you have to run your water for 20 minutes after you hook this thing up. But yeah, as you saw in the test results, it works fine, and it's down to a 1 in the total dissolved solid. So almost completely clean water afterward here. But I've seen some of these where they've taken an example on some of the desktop ones, and they've poured Coke in one side and they get fresh water out on the other. So it's pretty amazing there. So I ran this for about 20 minutes total, and that's all it took. And then I was able to get fresh water. We've been using it and really enjoying it. There is a add-on that you can get for this one to specifically do your fridge, which I'm considering now because it was so easy to install. All I have to do is move that second line and tee it off, and I'll be able to do that. Now, for fridge use or where you're going to need a higher volume, possibly, they do have an expansion tank, which they'll sell you as well. So let's go back and take a look at the Amazon page for this one. There was a question in here about consumables, and I want to make sure that I've got that answered here. I don't know if they sell the consumables through here. SimPure makes a variety of different versions of this one. So I'm seeing an ad for one of their other ones here for an 8-stage version. So there it is. There's the carbon cartridge. So it looks like the consumable is $25 for the carbon filter. The reverse osmosis filter, thanks Microsoft Shopping that I don't want, is $55. So that's what you're looking at it here. So service life for 12 to 18 months, it looks like on this one. And then this other one is $25, and it's looking for 6 to 12 months, depending on use and consumption. There you go. So overall, very happy with this product. Had no problems with it. Very easy to install. And I would recommend this one. It is available right now on Amazon. Let me go back one page here for myself, and we'll get the current price. There is a $100 coupon, which brings it down to $239. This is an investment in your home. It's got a stainless steel spigot that you're getting. You're getting all those connectors that you don't need to go out and invent, that are very easy to install and self-install. And you're looking at, what's that, $10 a month over a couple of years if you're looking at the total costs. So that is the products that we had on the show today. I want to thank everybody again for checking in here. We checked out a mini PC. I will look into this thing more and find out if there are any crazy viruses. I showed you a couple hints of what's coming up next week. I have an entire tool show coming up next week. I went through and I bought the best hand tools and hand tool accessories from Amazon because I wanted to try them all out, and we're going to try them out. Got a couple really cool rolling tool bags. Sorry, not rolling, roll up tool bags, which is a new style for me. But I was just getting so frustrated with getting all of my tools lost. And then I wanted to have my tools in different styles. Like I've got my networking tools, I've got my electrical tools, got my plumbing tools for this last project that I did. And I wanted to have things that were kind of compartmentalized. So that next week we'll check that in. I'm just looking at all of this thing in the chat. You guys are going crazy. I really do appreciate you guys again checking in. It has been many, many weeks, but only because I've been sick and, finally got my voice back last week and been waiting to come see you guys. Thank you for tuning in, and I will catch you guys all in the next one. Thanks, everybody. See you all next week.